ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Saturday. I hope you guys had a great week and that your weekend has started well as well. So, a quick report on the weather, which has been crazy here in the UK. It's for some reason cooled down a little bit today, which is good. It's only been in the low 20s rather than the high 20s and then even into the 30s Celsius. So hence, yeah, things are a little bit more comfortable tonight. So let's give a shout out to you guys in the live chat room tonight. We have, I was going through quickly, we have Suzanne, Cindy, Lucy, Billy, Bob, Leslie, Lisa, Mia, Daisy, Purple Velvet, Jeremy, Tracer, Billy, Laurie, Cindy, Bob, Angela, Julie, Laurie, Desert, Deluge, Tammy, Daisy, and it's going through again. Melody Rocks as well is in there as well. So hello to you guys. Thank you for joining me tonight. And let's start by getting the names of my patrons up on screen because they make this all possible in the first place. So a huge shout out to you guys. You know who you are. And these people's names go across the bottom of the live stream on a Tuesday and a Saturday because they are the foundation of everything that I do. I wouldn't be doing the live streams, the analysis videos and everything that I've done in the past on the channel if it weren't for the support from the people at the bottom of the screen. So thank you guys. Right, let's get the likes goal up on screen to see what we're going to be aiming for tonight. It is 415 that we're going to be looking to hit, and if we do hit that target we will have Phil Jam number 247. That is correct, just checking over with Joe's message. It is number 247, 6 minutes and 3 seconds long. So yeah, we'll have a jam along to that a little bit later on if we hit the target of 415. Let's get the like commenter up on screen to see where we are at. And we are already at 209 likes. So, and it's just jumped up to 214. So thank you guys for the spike of the likes. If you can hit that thumbs up, that would be very much appreciated to get us to the Phil Jam target for tonight. But also it just helps the channel to grow and for these live streams to get out there a little bit more as well. So let's also get up on screen the donations tab because you don't have to donate. Just watching is great. And maybe hitting the thumbs up, leaving a comment. As I always say, introduce yourself into that live chat room so that we can all get to know each other and get used to each other's usernames, but also the little profile pictures that are there as well. So I can see that there have been donations already, so thank you guys for these. But as I always say, you don't have to donate. Just watching is great, and that goes for everything on the channel, the analysis videos and these live streams. Yeah, I think it's important that people do know if they are going to donate that between 45 and 60% goes to YouTube through the super chat window, and between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal through the PayPal link, which you can find in the description below. But just watching and interacting is great, so thank you guys for doing that. On the previous videos that I've released, where are we? I think, in fact I know, the last video that I did, which was last night, so it's not very far back to remember, was the AI band thing that I was asked to take a look at. And I don't know whether I'll have to do a follow-up video, but I've had quite a few comments from people who don't really understand the implications of creating something that isn't real if it's an AI image. And I might get into that in this live stream, but a lot of people said, oh yeah, the images were AI, but what if the music was real and they just used AI images? Unfortunately, you can't do that. Legally, you can't have something that is representing you as a band and as people that isn't you or the band as people. So when there have been examples in the past of bands, and this is something that a few comments have said, where they've said, there's a band, say for example Slipknot, but that wasn't the example that was given, and they said, and they wear masks, so what's the difference in that? of wearing a mask and hiding your identity and then coming up with AI images. Legally, there's a massive difference between those two. And by the way, yeah, the reason that I didn't listen to the music, first of all, is pointless because it was an AI image. And once you've made an AI image of yourself and you haven't disclosed it, it means that that is potentially, you have to talk to a lawyer, but it's potentially fraudulent. You're not allowed to do that. So if there was any music released, it would all be irrelevant anyway because they've started with something that's illegal by coming up with something that isn't actually them. And there are laws that cover this kind of thing so that people aren't misled. And that was a clear example of it. And I think that whoever came up with this band wasn't, I mean, I don't know whether there's any links to Spotify creating it, because I gave that hypothetical situation in my video, but say that a person has come up with this AI, various AI images and the idea of the AI band and has made AI music. I think that they might not have actually planned to come out and admit that they made an AI band and made AI images, but because it was so widely reported on, they felt like, oh, I've got to admit this, because the real problem is if they were to continue that, they could face legal action. And it's quite a serious thing, that misrepresentation. But anyway, back to the point. So Slipknot wearing masks, what's the difference? When people watch Slipknot perform, nobody's thinking, are they the real people wearing masks? And are they wearing masks? Who knows? There's no question about what the band members are doing. You can see that they're wearing masks. So you haven't been misled. So when you then come to make up imaginary images of people, that is now why all of these questions have come about. Because it's something that is created that isn't real. It isn't real people on stage. It isn't real people wearing a mask, and you can see they're wearing a mask. So if somebody says, oh, are they wearing a mask? Of course, the other person would say, well, yes, clearly they're wearing a mask. So you can see it. It is truthful. And say, for example, there's a massive investigation into Slipknot, and they put all of these images together and checked out different live performances. They would come to the conclusion that Slipknot were wearing masks. And you'd say, well, that's not misrepresentation, that's not misleading, because that's what they do. But when you create something that isn't real, that's where it's an illegal practice in lots of different ways, in lots of different corners of commerce. You have that of being misrepresented. And the problem is on Spotify, and if they were making revenue there and maybe selling albums, I say they, or the person that created this, if they were selling albums, making money from it, from that misrepresentation of the band, and I mean, it's going to be AI music anyway. And this is the other thing, that it has to be disclosed. Whenever you upload anything to anything for streaming software or streaming sites, you have to disclose if AI has been used to make songs, to make images. So they've obviously skipped that, which is going to be a breach of Spotify's terms and conditions, for example. So they've already broken a law. And so anyway, back to the point, that's why I didn't analyze the music, because there have been laws that have been broken. So if it's AI images, it's going to be AI music, because no band in their right mind would break a law and then release them genuinely playing, because now they can be traced. Each one of these people, you say, well, how do you explain this, that you've created this image that isn't actually true? So yeah, the whole band will be in a lot of trouble. And I don't know what happened to the person that created it, or maybe I think I saw somewhere that the person that came out and said they created it then said that they didn't create it. So I wonder if the legal implications of it maybe hit home and the person thought, oh, I better backtrack and say, no, actually, I didn't do it. Because, yeah, if it was an actual band, then you've got people that can now be held, to account for what they've done with, not disclosing that it's AI. But as I pointed out in my video, it's absolutely obvious that it is. And if one thing is, then the other thing had to be, because it wouldn't make sense to have a genuine band playing music who have broken the law and can now therefore be traced. So anyway, that was that. And yeah, a lot of people don't really understand it from that point of view, but I didn't really get into the legalities point or in much detail because, yeah, I was just keeping it short and just saying that it wasn't really worth looking at because of the silly images. But if I had to do another video just to explain to people that, yeah, if you're starting out in music and the first thing you do is potentially illegal just to try and get publicity, then that's going to be a bad move for you professionally in the future and for your integrity artistically and for your respect within the music industry. And answering one comment, I did cite Milli Vanilli, that I said that if you are going to be dishonest and then people find out about it, it doesn't end well. It doesn't matter who you are. You might be a recording artist who is doing something, for example, miming or lip syncing, and nobody knows that you are, but then it's broken the story that you are doing it and it can be proved. That's never something that's going to help you. People are going to say, oh, I now respect that artist more because they've been found to be doing this and they didn't disclose that in the first place. So they've been potentially lying, especially if they're saying that they are singing live and then it's proven that it's not live. That doesn't gain respect. That loses respect. So yeah, it doesn't make sense from any angle in my mind as to why you would do that in the first place, especially considering that, you know, they could be facing legal action depending on who wants to, you know, I don't know, Spotify, like how much they're going to enforce their terms and conditions or all that kind of stuff. I assume it's just going to be something that's going to be removed and then they have to re-upload this particular profile stating that it is AI. And again, the problem with that is that there aren't going to be any people that are going to be able to play live unless you get in people that try and look the same as the AI images. So yeah, very, very weird that people even bought this whole thing, considering the images that were presented with the band. But anyway, I mean, even that that shot of the tape, kind of the analog tape sitting on the desk, where normally you'd have either 4 kind of gaps in the tape that are all even, or you'd have maybe 3 at the top and 1 at the bottom, but you never have 2 and then 2 that are a bit random. So even the AI didn't really take that in either. So yeah, even that, the one that looked the most authentic even had something about it that you think, well, it kind of looks a little bit dodgy. So anyway, yeah, that was the last video, and there have been donations, so I will address those. Thank you guys for these as we approach almost 300 likes. 298, if you could hit that thumbs up, it'll be very much appreciated, because we're, well, now looking for what, 117 more people to have a fill jam at the end of the live stream. We'll bust out the guitar and see what goes down with tonight's backing track. Right, let me jump into the super chat window just to address the donations in there. Paul has donated $2. Thank you for that, Paul. And the message is, let's have fun tonight, spike the likes, all y'all. So thank you for that. And Karen's donated $10 as well. Thank you for that. The message is, greetings from beautiful California, Phil. Just wondered if you knew the brothers who died in the crash the other day from the years that you played soccer so much. Condolences to all. So thank you for that. And I mean, no, I didn't play at, I didn't play in the Premier League like now. I played a very long time ago, and I gave up when I was, what, 20 years old, something like that. So we're talking about over 20 years ago. So it was a different generation of footballers. So Diego Jota, who passed away with his brother, sadly, he played for Liverpool, who won the league this year, the Premier League, and he's 28. So yeah, a lot younger than me, and there would have, even if I were a professional footballer in the Premier League, there'd be no way that our careers would have overlapped, because yeah, I'm a lot older. So anyway, thank you for that, Karen. And Purple Green has donated $10 as well. Thank you for that. And the message is, thank you, with the pear person who's, I think, praying or saying thank you. So thank you for that. And Mia has donated 3,000 Argentinian pesos, I think these are. So thank you for that. And the message is, hi Phil, thanks for your work and I admire your patience. And David has donated $5 under that. Thank you for that, David. The message is good health and blessings to you and your family. So thank you for that. And there have been some donations over on PayPal, so I will address those very quickly. I say that I want to make sure that I don't miss any out. So we had one that came through from Brian for £15. So thank you for that, Brian. And that was a straight up donation. And then Chuck donated £2. So thank you for that, Chuck. And quickly, while I remember, we are now almost, well, not quite almost, but on track, hopefully, fingers crossed, for the albums for my Persistence album, because it ran out, I didn't have any stock left, and then I wanted to restock, and the manufacturers that I usually use, or distributors that I usually use, they had changed the way that, it's a long story, the pixels, the dimensions of the album cover, so I had to redesign that, and then they didn't deliver to the UK, or at least they didn't for, under like about $300 extra, so then I went to another company, had to totally do my album over again, all of the artwork, to get it to look the same as the other albums. And when I say that, I mean the other albums that I've sent out over the last however many years. So yeah, I had to obviously keep it all consistent. So hopefully they will be sent out soon. So if you have ordered through the website, thank you for that. And yeah, I'm just waiting for new CDs to arrive so that I can get them and start sending them off and get all the orders up to date. So thank you for your patience, everybody who has donated through the website. But I am on it. And hopefully it'll be soon and that it's all sorted out. So anyway, thank you for this, Nicole, £15 donation. And the message is, hello, Phil. I wish you a tempered weekend. Do you have air conditioning for this period? Good times, rock, Phil, and kisses. So thank you for that. And yes, I've got air conditioning, and here over the last week, it has been absolutely needed because we've had some ridiculous temperatures. I looked up online that the average temperature for the UK, I don't know going back how far, but things have been warming up more recently, but the average temperature was 16 degrees for a summer in the UK, and it has been consistently above that for at least 2, maybe 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks, where we are getting into the 30 Celsius and mid 20s. And now when it's feeling cooler, it's still way above the average that it should be. So something that you think, oh, it feels cooler today, and you look at the thermometer or your phone, as I do, and it's up 22 degrees. So still, well above normal. So I say normal. I think the normal is gradually changing just to get warmer and warmer every year. So anyway, thank you for that, Nicole. We're just going to have to get used to the heat, and thankfully I do have air conditioning that I can turn on. So Cindy has donated £30 as well. Thank you for that, Cindy. And the message is, a lot of people complained that you didn't analyse the music of the Velvet Sundown, but it seems to me that if a real band were going to use AI-generated imagery to represent them, they would be willing to admit that, rather than try to pretend that those pics are real and damage the credibility of their music. So thank you for that. And yes, I did address that at the beginning of the live stream, that it's only going to do damage, not only for your reputation, but potentially for your bank balance. If people think that you've made money through being fraudulent, then sites, for example, Spotify, might come back for any revenue that has been attained by said band or person using fake band imagery and fake band songs. And it doesn't even matter if the songs were real and the person had actually played them using AI images and not disclosing it, is something that yeah, the law is very clear on, but terms and conditions are very clear on as well. As you'll know with YouTube, you have to disclose whether what you're uploading is AI or whether you're creating it yourself. So yeah, it's not a good move either way. And that's why, I guess, because I know all of this, I thought, well, it's not even, there's no point in listening to the music, because I know it's going to be AI generated, and it's because of what I know about AI imagery and also the law and it just being something that you wouldn't do. A real band wouldn't, I was about to say, a real band wouldn't be stupid enough to do that. But maybe there are bands, but certainly those bands would learn from this particular exercise that it's not gone particularly well. It got a lot of press, and I know that people say, what is it? There's no such thing as bad publicity. There absolutely is, and there are plenty of examples of bad publicity, things that have negatively affected people's careers, and they've never recovered from it. So yeah, I think there is such thing as bad publicity. This got a lot of publicity, but again, I think that if you were a band or an artist watching my video, you'd say, is this video good for our publicity? If you are a genuine artist, genuine musician, genuine band, you think, well, no, having that kind of video on a channel that is, is watched a lot, but has close to 500,000 subscribers, being shown on that, where it's a bit of a laugh that everyone's, well, I'm certainly saying that I can't believe people have spotted that, or not spotted that the guy's finger, middle finger, is like a sausage, and kind of blending into his thumb. There's so many ridiculous things there. But anyway, yeah, it's not good publicity to, in my opinion, have that kind of publicity. There is bad publicity. Right, let's move on. But thank you for that, Cindy. Bryony has donated £5 as well. Thank you for this, Bryony. And that is a straight up donation. Tammy's donated £10. Thank you for that, Tammy. And that's a straight up donation as well. And Lisa W has donated £10. Thank you for that. The message is, hi Phil, I am saddened to hear you are still having trouble with your arm. These kind of injuries can be very tricky and hard to heal. I hope you get it straightened out soon so you can hit the links again. Investigate KT tape. It's a miracle worker for me. So thank you for that. And yeah, I did try tape before, actually quite early on in my injury, but yeah, it didn't really tend to help much. The thing that helped most was just wearing a support, and the support that I have is a bit tighter, or at least has a Velcro section where you can tighten it around, where the tendons are and the ligaments that are the problem, to take a bit of the load off them. But yeah, I mean, my arm's not too bad. It has recovered a lot, but there's still particular things that I'll do that might aggravate it, and then it takes time to kind of come back. But yeah, I just got to get through the rehab. And yeah, the rehab was actually going quite well, because I started to not feel it as much. So yeah, like I said in the last live stream, I had built up to quite a good place, but then it's when you aggravate it, you have to kind of take a bit of time off, get back to where you were, and then kind of push forward from then on. So yeah, I will do that in the future. Thank you for that, Lisa. And Debbie has donated £10, so thank you for that. And the message is, hi Phil, you're doing a great job keeping everything organised on both channels. Glad you finally got your CD artwork finished. You're the best. Love you, Debbie. So thank you for that. And Leslie has donated £20 as well. Thank you for that. And the message is, in a movie theatre waiting for the real Nigel Tufnell ketchup. So thank you for that. And yeah, if there were a movie that, now the problem is that only in that one particular video or couple of videos my hair looked exactly like Nigel Tufnell, but I wouldn't be able to recreate it. I don't know how, because like my hair tonight, it always just is what it is, and tonight it is what it is, and it's organised itself, I think, in quite a good way. So I can see everything. The fringe isn't too long, but yeah, I'm sure that a TV crew or a hairdresser, if there were a life story, this would be great, having a life story of a fictional character, then yeah, maybe I could, but I was going to say, maybe I could play him, but the actor who plays Nigel Tufnell, I think, yeah, has to be considerably older than me, so I might be able to play his younger self. So yeah, that'll be a laugh. We'll see if I get cast in that particular fictional movie. So thank you for that, Leslie. Angela's donated £10.52, so thank you for that. And the message is, hi Phil, question, since you are a Winger fan, have you ever done an analysis on any of their songs / videos? Thanks, Angela. So thank you for that. And no, I haven't. And this is the thing about my analysis videos, is that I'm not doing analysis videos for myself. I'm doing requests. So people are asking me to look at and this is why particular videos and performances that I'm looking at that I might never have seen before, but I'm still gonna analyze them and just say what's going on. So yeah, Winger, haven't been requested yet, but thank you for that, Angela. And Karen has donated £5.53. And the message is, hi Phil, I loved your analysis / discussion yesterday. You reminded me of why AI don't like AI for endless reasons. Just for fun, from the Rethink game. How do you maintain authenticity while adapting to changing circumstances? I appreciate your artistic integrity, your honesty, and for all you bring to your analysis. Many thanks for being you. Cheers, Karen. So thank you for that. And how do you maintain authenticity while adapting to changing circumstances? It's really easy because you just be honest. That's the easiest way to go about it. Just if you just do what you do, be honest about it, and then authenticity won't be a problem because you're never hiding anything. In the words of Judge Judy, if you tell the truth, you don't need to have a good memory. So yeah, just be honest, be open with what you're doing, and the thing is that goes for everything. If you are somebody who has recorded something and you've done it a particular way, and the video might be of something else, and people might be thinking it's something else, you can just put in the description of how it was done, and that's something that in the future I'll probably do a video just as an update to a video that I made recently as to things appearing one way but then being another way and all that kind of stuff, and just explain lots of things that I think are relevant to lots of videos that I look at where people are watching something and might feel like when I'm pointing out about particular things that they are misled by what they're watching, because it might not necessarily be the audio from what we are watching, but it relates to a lot of videos that I've done in the past. But anyway, thank you for that, Karen. And Angela's donated £10.52, so thank you for that. And Angela says, Phil, how is your new merch company going? So thank you for that. And it's just paused at the moment because I'm getting my album artwork all sorted, and because I don't yet have the album in stock. Once that's done, that's like my main focus. Once that's done, then I can move on to other things like merch. But yeah, certainly by far the thing that's ordered most is my music, my album, and signed albums, and then just albums, the physical product by themselves. And yeah, sending those out is the most important thing, and then merch is something that I'll get into after that. But that's the thing about doing everything myself, is it takes time. I just have to do one thing, one job, and then move on to the next job once the first one's finished. So I'm still finishing the first job at the moment. So thank you for that, Angela. And Chuck has donated £10.52. So thank you for that. And Chuck says live chat ! So yes, indeed, we are live, and Chuck might be in there somewhere in the live chat. If anybody can see Chuck in there, hello if you're in there. But there's been another donation. Desiree has donated £10, so thank you for that. And okay, this is a really long message, so I'm not going to read this out, but it looks like it's a donation with a request for an analysis video. So, Mike Patton of Faith No More. Right, so I will add that to the list. And yeah, I'm just trying to get the gist of the message, but yeah, it is an analysis request. You don't have to pay for analysis videos, by the way. Just make the request and I will address them. Now, the other thing, I think I mentioned this before, where I'm looking at creating an email address that is just for requests, because the problem is there are so many requests happening all over the place that, yeah, it's becoming impossible for me to keep up with the different emails. You know, I've said before about people using the official business email to send through requests, and then there's a Wings of Pegasus email, there's the website contact form, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there are too many inboxes with too many requests now for me to try to keep ahead of it all. So yeah, I've decided that there's going to be a request email, and it's probably most likely going to be the case that the other requests that come through, because there are so many of them, that I won't be able to address those, just the ones that come through to a particular inbox, because yeah, it's been a journey of getting more and more and more and more requests, and it seems like getting to almost 500,000 subscribers is kind of hit the tipping point where there's so many coming through that, yeah, I'll be doing them for the rest of my life, but just trying to keep up to date with so many different things going on, and all of the inboxes, I'll have to concentrate and keep it all in one inbox. And this is the thing about the social media pages, is they can't be directed into an inbox, because it's not really an email you're getting. It's like a Facebook message or Instagram message. So anyway, yeah, I'll probably do that in the future. Of course, I will announce that when I have done it. But anyway, thank you for that donation, Desiree. Sue has donated £5. Thank you for that, Sue. And the message is there a party planned when you hit 500,000 subscribers? So thank you for that. And not really. I think the next one on YouTube, when you get an award, is 1 million. So yeah, that's the next. Well, it's quite a way to go, but that's the next official milestone. And yeah, I mean, it'd be great to get to 500,000, but it's not something that I'm going to be planning anything, doing anything for, because I'm just all of my planning is just planning on keeping up with everything. So yeah, taking some time out to plan to do something like that, I haven't thought about. But thank you for that, Sue. And we are now up to date in the PayPal window. So thank you guys for the donations over there. And I think, there's been another donation over in the Super Chat window. And Elaine has donated $5. Thank you for that. And the message is, do you cook? Never heard you mention that. What do you like to cook? So, I mean, I don't consider myself a cook. If I am cooking something, it's like, you know, doing rice and chicken, you know, in sauce and all that kind of stuff. And that, I don't think that's really cooking. It's just like rice isn't difficult to do. Chicken isn't that difficult to do. The problem that I have, which is always the problem I have, is the time. To cook something, you need to have that time available to cook. Whereas for me, like sometimes doing, you know, bacon and eggs, that's something that I can do quite quickly. So yeah, I can cook that, and sometimes I'll have, yeah, bacon, eggs, beans, toast, or maybe some, yeah, fried bread if I'm feeling fancy. But simple things like that I can do because they don't take very long. You know, you can, yeah, fry a couple of eggs in, yeah, once the pan's heated up, it's only going to take a few minutes. So yeah, time is always of the essence. But if I'm thinking about, you know, making a meal that might take 20 minutes, half an hour to put together, I'll pretty much always choose something that is quicker, like soup, for example, which is great because soup is just 2 or 3 minutes in the microwave and a bit of bread with butter on, and then you're good to go. So yeah, I don't spend a lot of time cooking. But thank you for that. And Angela says, what's fried bread? Fried bread is exactly what it sounds like. So, well, it's putting bread in the frying pan and frying it. So instead of it being done in the toaster, where it makes bread into toast from heat, you've got the stuff that was in the pan. And generally, like, you can use oil to do this, but I use the spray, the special low-calorie spray, and then it means that it's now going to... Oh, what's the fancy word for it? It's like... it makes it go like a golden brown colour on one side. You flip it over, and then it goes golden brown on the other side, and now it's crispy. So the fried bread is crispy that you then put your bacon and your eggs on. You don't have to put it on it, but that's what I do. So I know that some people would make a sandwich out of it and do 2 bits of fried bread, but I feel like, well, it's maybe a little bit too unhealthy. So I just have 1 and then 2 eggs, 2 bits of bacon on top, maybe 3 bits of bacon. And yeah, that's the meal. So that's what fried bread is. And yeah, I think, Diamond Girl says, we call that French toast. So yeah, I guess calling it fried bread is just saying what it is. You're just frying bread. So anyway, that's what that is. And yeah, it's very nice if you have the time to do it. But more often than not, I just have toast with some butter on and then put that there. Tomato ketchup as well. And then I'm good to go. But it is important. Like, what I do is I do the egg, flip it over, and make sure that, what's that called? Like, not sunny side up, but sunny side down. So once you flip it over, it's then doing it just for maybe another 30 seconds, or if that, maybe take it off the heat and leave it for maybe a minute or 2, so that it's still, the yolk is still runny. So then when you're cutting into the bacon with the egg underneath, and then you've got the bread under there, the yolk then comes out and covers it all over, and it's very nice in my opinion. So yeah, that's a meal that I have mastered. It's not really a meal, it's more of a snack, but a very nice one. So thank you for that. Right now we are approaching 1:45 here, and we have 2 lesser requested and lesser known cover video requests. We've got my cover of the Oblivion theme song from the Oblivion game back in the day, which I used to play on PlayStation 3, I think it was back then. I think it was around 2001, maybe. So yeah, very long time ago, but a computer game that I played quite a lot. And it's Hero, which is the other one. And that's from the Spider-Man movie. And it's Chad Kroeger that did that particular song for that movie. So yeah, whichever one of those you want to hear. 54% of the vote with Oblivion at the moment, so it might be that, because we are scooting through this live stream at quite a rate. And by the way, we're looking for 20 more people to hit the thumbs up in order to ensure the Phil Jam number 247 at the end of the live stream. So yeah, if you could hit that thumbs up, it'll be very much appreciated. And yeah, we'll bust out the guitar and see what happens. So 1:45 midnight, I'm thinking whether we've got time for anything extra. I think the problem with the riffs of the week at the moment is that it's gonna take very long to find the numbers, because it's either 13 or 12 numbers that we've got left. So actually getting the right number, maybe we'll need a bit more time for that. So we could have a fill tune, maybe. I feel like we have got a little bit more time than normal. And well, the fill jam is going to be just over 6 minutes. So we can definitely fit that in at the end. Melody Rock says, Alien Talk? ? We haven't had Alien Talk in quite a while, but I think somebody said that what is it, a few weeks ago now that Skinwalker Ranch started up again in the USA, a new series, and we have to wait ages to see it. So I can't really do any alien talk. I haven't seen any new documentaries or anything like that. Just been too busy and haven't really kept up with anything going on in the world. But hopefully, again, I don't know whether the Skinwalker Ranch thing is a genuine alien investigation or whether it's an I almost said an invalian. So my alien went into involving. But anyway, I don't know whether it's an alien investigation involving the actual people who are trying to get to the bottom of things, or whether it's the government version of the people that investigate, who look like they're genuinely trying to investigate, but they're actually part of the government and they're not really actually investigating. They're just drip feeding the public with information, hoping to give them just enough so that they don't find out too much. So I don't know which category Skinwalker Ranch falls into, unfortunately, but I do know that when they are doing their shows, they tend to cover the same ground over and over and over again, showing what they've done in previous series. But I mean, the point of a show is that if you've been watching it, you know what's happened in the previous series. So I just feel like that they should cover more. So this is why I'm a bit suspicious of Skinwalker Ranch, is because they cover so much that you think, well, can't we just cover new stuff all the time, rather than looking back at all the old footage from the previous series and saying, oh, back in the first series, this person had, a headache and they had to go to hospital, and they start showing all of the footage from the first series. It's like, well, we're in what, series 4 or 5 now? We don't need to recover that. It's like, if it was the same for like drama series, that it wouldn't work. The whole reason that it goes from one series to the next is because everyone knows the story and you're following the characters evolving as the series go on. They don't keep covering what happened in the first series, because then nobody would watch it, because they say, yeah, we know that happened. So yeah, it is a bit frustrating to watch sometimes. That they are very much doing it as if you're watching the series for the first time and you're on episode 4 of series 4. It's like, if people are watching that as their first episode, then they've got a problem. They need to go to series 1, episode 1. I don't think anybody jumps into a series like that randomly in like series 4. You don't need to explain it for people at that point, but they still did and do, and it's a bit frustrating. But anyway, I'll still watch it to see what's going on. Karen has donated $5. Thank you for that. And the message is, hi Phil, fun from. Which would you choose? Adventures with wild horses or Adventures with wild dolphins, and why? Thanks for being a good sport, Karen. So thank you for that. Well, wild dolphins, from what I've seen, has got to be safer, but I would say that the dolphins have to be brought into a place that I know is safe. So I'm not going to go swimming out in the ocean with wild dolphins. If I had to do that, and there might be sharks around who don't understand that they're not allowed to take chunks out of human beings, then I would probably go for wild horses and just avoid them, hide behind a tree, because I don't want to get kicked by a horse. Just top tip, don't get kicked by a horse, because they are massively powerful. I have seen videos before where it's these instant karma videos where there might be a guy who thinks he's clever and he's kind of smacking the back of the horse or kicking it, and then he gets kicked by the horse, and yeah, he flies across the paddock or whatever you call it, and you think, well, yeah, he was asking for that. Don't mess around standing behind the legs of a horse, because it's very dangerous. So yeah, I would go for the Adventures with wild horses and just stay out of it. So anyway, Karen has donated $10, so thank you for that. And the message is, the video on the kids group, it reminded me of the way parents get in fights with umps, refs, Oh, umpires, referees, etc. Kids should be free to enjoy sports, music, etc. just for pleasure, so they don't get discouraged. So thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, the problem with that whole scenario was that the children, the kids, are the innocent party. Like, they're just playing music. They're enjoying music, and that's what it's all about. So yeah, I'm very much for encouraging kids to get into music and not holding them to adult standards. But this is the problem with social media, that it's just a given that it has to be as good as every other video, which, you know, everyone's jumping on the, you know, pre-recording bandwagon and maybe editing the picture, vocals, and all these different things. So it means that if you do want to upload a video of your kid or your kid's band, if they are just a normal band, even if they're a great kid band, they might be seen as not as good as another band who aren't doing it all live and all that kind of stuff. So that's the problem, is having these impossible bars that have been set over the last kind of 5 or 10 years. So yeah, that's and sadly the kids are performing and doing what they do, but then it's kind of the production that it goes through that then, you know, shows it as something else. So yeah, it is a bit of a shame, but I've said in other videos about the pressures to do it, just to compete with everybody else because everyone else is doing it. So yeah, I think there certainly is a pressure for people to do that, and it's just a shame that the kids are absolutely, you know, in the dark about it all. Because when you think of, like, I thought back to when I was 11, and I thought I didn't know anything about anything, and I don't think any 11-year-old does. You know about Melodyne and, you know, digital audio workstations and tuning vocals or re-recording or, you know, punching in, doing comp takes, overdubbing, and all these different things that are production techniques. 11-year-olds don't know how to do that. So this is why it's crazy when people start, you know, trolling kids. And yeah, I know that people have been saying to me, you can upload your videos to YouTube and you can turn off the comments so that, you know, the kids are safe, so that they can put their performance there. And in the scenario that I've just given, where they're uploading a genuinely live performance, they can put that on the internet, and if comments are disabled, they can have that performance there, and there's nothing negative that can happen. And you can do that, you know, or over different sites, you know, wherever that particular video is being uploaded to, you can make sure that people aren't allowed to comment on it. So I think there is a way to safeguard kids for you know, uploading their performances, but the problem is when, you know, anyone and everyone can comment on it, and yeah, some people unfortunately just don't really understand it and can't be trusted to make a sensible comment. And a constructive comment. So yeah, when that happens, yeah, all gets a little bit out of control, as things did with that particular video and the reaction to it, and those people that decided to go off and start trolling kids, which I'm never going to condone, and hence the reason why things happened with that particular video, because it just got to a point where I thought it was all very stupid from the comments that were being made. So anyway, thank you for, I'm just going to skip this advert, but thank you for that, Karen. So this is it, that it is very difficult, because either you do a real performance, turn off the comments, or you do a performance that is like everything else that's going on, and potentially people might not appreciate that what they're watching isn't exactly what they're hearing. And I think that's where things become a little bit more complicated. And as much as one band would say, well, everyone else is doing it, so why are you having a go at us? Well, have a go at them as well. And sadly, that is it. That nowadays it's like an industry standard to be editing things. And I've looked at live performances from, you know, very well-known bands, very well-known artists. That, you know, one band that I analysed where I looked at the guitar, and the guitarist, it's even easy for me to say, the guitarist was not playing what we were hearing, and we had the crowd shot footage of the particular show, and we heard the actual guitar, but then the video that was released on YouTube didn't have that guitar on it, so it was overdubbed. And again, this is all really professional looking. So if the bar is set there, if any band are now going to do a performance uploaded to YouTube and it's the real performance, they'll say, oh, well, you're not as good as this other band because look, they absolutely nail it live. But then you can say, well, there's a reason that they're nailing it live, because they've re-recorded the whole show and overdubbed it all. So yeah, this is the problem. And sadly, it is like a never-ending rabbit hole, seemingly. So, right, anyway. Diamond Girl has donated $2, so thank you for that, Diamond Girl. And the message is fireworks, fill tune, please. And I think because of that statement that Karen made, it means that now we probably don't have time for the fill tune, because I think especially the fireworks is a bit of a long one, maybe 5 minutes long, maybe 6 minutes. So that would then, we've got a picture corner as well to get into, and the cover video. So it is Oblivion that is in the lead, and in fact I'm going to end the poll so that we are going to be, I believe, 51%. So it was actually pretty close in the end, but Oblivion is the winner for tonight. And like I said, this is a cover, or my cover, of Oblivion, the theme from the Oblivion computer game. And it's quite an old computer game, so I don't know whether people will know it or not, but I played it a lot. Therefore, I did the theme on my guitar. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you after. Rock! And there we have it. I think that was quite a short video, actually. The Oblivion theme from the game. And thank you guys for voting for that as tonight's cover video and requesting it over on Patreon in the first place. And yeah, like I said, Hero and Oblivion, not ones that we watch very regularly, but there it was. So, right. Jumping into picture corner just very quickly, because we have one picture in there. Now, as for where this is going to appear on screen, I do not know, but let's jump in and see where it displays. Oh, it's off to the left hand side. So let me see if I can grab grab it and make it go in the middle like that. Right, this comes in from Leslie, and Leslie says, Wings of Pegasus's t-shirt made it to someplace Phil never will. Rural Southern Alabama. So thank you for sending that one in, Leslie, and thank you, Laura, for linking me to this picture. And yeah, there we have it. So that's going to be Picture Corner for tonight. Let me get rid of that and we'll exit this. And I've seen that Bob just donated $5, so thank you for this, Bob. And this is a picture of a cat saying ha 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 and laughing. So thank you for that, Bob. And I don't know what that's referring to, but we do cover some random things during the live streams, so it could be to do with aliens or anything. I do not know. Right, so where are we? 3 minutes past midnight. And where are we with the likeometer? We have hit our target of 415 for tonight, which means we are going to be having the Phil Jam. And it is 6 minutes and 5 seconds in length, which theoretically means that we'll end on time, or maybe a little bit short of time. Who knows? We might have loads of problems and sound issues and things. So I'm going to try and get this sorted now. So Phil Jam number 247. I'm going to see if Red Dude appears, and Red Dude says we're already zoomed out, so we will grab the Strat for tonight because it's plugged in. As for the tuning, okay, right, the guitar is on, which is good. Tuning always goes a little bit random when it's hot, and then it cools down, and then it gets hot again. So we Melody Rock says, is the gem never plugged in? What tends to happen is if a particular guitar is plugged in, it just stays plugged in, because I just grab whichever guitar's plugged in and play. And if I'm just messing around, just watching a YouTube video or something, or waiting for something to download or upload or isolate vocals, all that kind of stuff, I might grab whichever guitar it is and just quickly run through some things. But yeah, it tends not to change guitars very much. Sometimes it will, sometimes it doesn't. So amp mic on, important thing, so that you guys can actually hear the guitar as well. A couple of live streams we actually missed turning that on, so you just watched me doing nothing in silence for a couple of minutes. Right, so that is on, and let's click on this.
Imagine your track exploded.
Uh-oh. I can't hear the advert, but I'm assuming you guys can hear the advert. Why am I not hearing anything? Let's skip this. Unmute this. Okay, right, so this is Cinematic Jam Track F-A minor, and this is coming from Darren's Music Studio, and it's Darren's D-A-R-R-E-N''S. So let's have a listen to this. Hopefully it comes through, and let me know what the levels are like. point. Sneaking suspicion that kind of thing was going to happen, because the video thing came up on screen, and that always is a bit unsettling when you think this is just suddenly going to end because you have to try and stop playing at the same time. Anyway, that was that. It was Cinematic Jam track F-AM, which is A minor, and it's from Darren's Music Studio. So thank you for sending that my way, Joe, and you guys can head over there if you want to jam along to that yourself. So that was it, and we had a little bit of Oblivion-esque stuff going on there with the actually a bit of the kind of like that. So yeah, interesting one that it overlapped for some reason with the cover requested tonight. We are going to be calling things to a close. Where are we? Oh, 13 minutes past midnight. So we are ending literally, well, technically, what's it going to be? 1 minute. Oh, we've got 1 minute and 25 seconds left of the live stream. And why is my voice echoing? It's really annoying. Okay, right, it's gone now. So, yes. Oh, and by the way, I know what I'll say. With the guitar effects, because some people ask me about this, with fading in, like that, tuning, I did say it's going to go out of tune. Having this, I'm doing that with a foot pedal, and old school way, you go like this. Like that. So what I'm doing there, you might see my right hand, I've got my little finger on the volume. So you can fade in the notes if you want to. So kind of back in the day, you know, when I was younger, I never had a pedal that could fade in notes, and it makes it kind of sound a little bit more violin-y. So you'd use your volume in order to get exactly the same effect. So yeah, I think lots of players work at, maybe lots of players used to work at doing that in order to fade in the notes. So it's something that I kind of worked out a little bit in order to get that effect if I wanted it. But then, you know, pedals came out that were not only like, you know, wah-wah pedals, but they could double as volume pedals as well. So it was doubly useful for having that same effect, being able to fade it in, and the I left the volume pedal on 0, so it doesn't matter if you fade in your guitar, the note's never going to come in. But the old school way of doing the same thing. So yeah, the positive bit about it, actually leaving the volume on 0 so that no matter what you're doing you can't hear it anyway, is really useful if you're playing live and you're playing a really loud volume and you want to check your guitar before you play, and everything might be set up and you might have a tuner. This is the other thing, that the pedal's got a tuner in there as well, so you can turn your volume down, the pedal still gets the signal of the strings, so then you can tune your guitar in silence. The audience isn't going to hear what you're doing because the volume's on 0, but you're still getting the tuner hearing the guitar. This is something that, yeah, if you're trying to tune your guitar and getting, plugging into a tuner and trying to do that, and then, plugging out of the tuner and then into an amplifier, and there's lots of potential noises that can go on. They'll be very loud, sticking another jack in your guitar and making contact with the guitar when the amp is turned up to 11. You don't want to be doing that, and that's why now the live stream's going on for ages, but this is why in Back to the Future, where Marty McFly turns up the amplifier, and the ridiculous amplifiers like 2 million watts, and he goes to plug it into his guitar. When it's all set up like that, just touching the guitar would, I'll give you an example. You would hear that, and that would have blown Marty McFly through the wall, through the boxes or whatever he went into before he even hit a chord. So that bit of the movie's a little bit inaccurate, but we're talking about traveling to the past and then into the future, so that's not entirely accurate either. So yeah, he would have been that would have been so loud. Anyway, back to the point. If you want to tune your guitar, it's great to have that option to turn everything down, still receive the signal, tune it, and then turn it up, knowing that you're perfectly in tune. So anyway, there we go. That was that. And Joe says we didn't have pedal tuners in the late 70s. So yeah, this is it. I think when learning to play, because I didn't have pedals either, it's just something that you kind of work on, just a little technique to get a slightly different sound from your guitar, but then technology comes in that allows you to do the same thing, but instead of using your hand, you can use your foot, and that means that you can fade in and use your whammy bar. Yeah, I don't want this live stream to go on for years, but then talking about Jeff Beck, the way that his whammy bar was always kind of bent in so that he could access that, fade in, use the whammy, so fade in with his little finger and use his whammy bar in order to vibrato with that as well, kind of just push down on it to get the sound. But you'll notice how on his guitar his whammy bar doesn't look like this. It was really close to his hand and closer to the body of the guitar. Anyway, we're going to be calling things to a close. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I'm going to be here with another video tomorrow night, so look out for that one. And I'm going to be live streaming on Tuesday night, as always, 11 PM Greenwich Mean Time. Thank you for tuning in tonight. If you can tune in on Tuesday, again, that'd be very much appreciated. And thank you for hitting the thumbs up as well. You can keep on doing that if you're watching in the future in the catch-up crew. But yeah, I'm going to be off tonight now, obviously, because it's getting very late. But I'll be on again tomorrow night at the analysis video, so look out for that. As I always say at the end of the live streams, try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live. And I will catch you guys at the next one. Rock!